to go to standard form, we're going to divide both sides of this equation by 64. Okay? So I get 4x squared over 64 minus 16y squared over 64 equals 1. Now, I don't want that coefficient, that 4 and that 16, on the x squared and the y squared. So let's see. 4 64ths is 1/16. So this is x squared over 16. 16 64ths is 1 over 4. So this is y squared over 4. How can you tell what? Yes. That's the big deal. The hyperbolas have that minus sign in between. Okay, this is x squared minus y squared, so this is going to be a horizontally oriented hyperbola. And this one, my a is the square root of 16, which is 4. My b is the square root of 4, which is 2. So let me first locate my vertex. My vertex is going to be on the horizontal axis, a distance of 4 from the center, and my center is at 0, 0. I'm going to locate my two vertices. And then I go ahead and I put that 2, that B, on my graph. I go a distance of 2 vertical from the center. I don't put a dot there because it's not my vertex, and I make a rectangle. That rectangle is going to have its sides go through the vertex and its other side go through that B distance from the center. Okay? Then I make the asymptotes. The asymptotes go through the center and the corners of this rectangle. So let me put in my asymptote here and there, here and there, making straight lines, don't make curvy lines. Put that again, make that too curvy. Okay. And now I'll go ahead and put in my hyperbola, which is centered at its vertex, and either side of this thing that kind of looks like a parabola, but it actually isn't, goes in a curved manner to this purple asymptote and gets closer and closer to this asymptote, but doesn't reach it. So I'll do that to the top side of that one. There we go. That's the official graph. And that A and that B, making that box, really helps me be able to graph these correctly. So the equation for my asymptote is y equals b over a times x, which is 2/4 x, or y equals 1/2 x. And the other asymptote is y equals negative 1/2 x. Okay. I'll do another one that's vertically oriented for you. And then we'll just go. So I'm going to do y squared over, let's go, 9 minus x squared over 4 equals 1. Okay? This one is y squared minus x squared, so it is vertically oriented. The a is the square root of the number under the x squared, so my a is the square root of 4, which is 2. My b is the square root of the number under the y squared, so that's the square root of 9, that's 3. Let me figure out where my vertex is. This is a y squared minus x squared, so this is a vertically oriented hyperbola. So my vertex is going to be on my y-axis here. Up 3, down 3 from the center. There are my vertices. I'm going to mark that other measurement, that a equals 2, also on my graph. 2 from the center. I'm going to make a little rectangle that goes through the 3 and the negative 3 and through the 2 and the negative 2. I'm going to make asymptotes that go through the center and the corner of the rectangle. And now from my vertices, I will start at the vertex and curve and go and hug the asymptote but never get there. And do that on both the positive direction and the negative direction. And there's my graph. And my asymptotes are y equals 3 halves x and y equals negative 3 halves.